So, if you've decided that you need to enlarge your transfer port so as to make the regulator more efficient because you're having it at a low pressure setting, I need to go through one or two vital things that you need to be aware of so as you do the job properly and don't make a mistake. Now, I'm sure most of you were probably quite worried about drilling the hole in your air reservoir for the breathe port. And so, having tackled that, the thought of drilling the transfer port out probably isn't a great worry because there's already a pre-existing hole drilled for you to follow. You haven't got to line up, dot punch, etc. That's already been done because there's already a transfer port hole there and you're simply enlarging it. Now, this is where you could be lulled into a very false sense of security and end up having a bit of a disaster and snapping the drill off in your transfer port. Now I'm going to try and talk you through how to avoid doing this, and then hopefully it'll come in useful in other tasks in life or other DIY jobs. So, for those of you who aren't into engineering or this is something relatively new for you, you can probably see in this booklet a full range of drills, and these are of a different angle and rake on the cutting face depending upon what material that you're going to be drilling. Now in a moment I'll cut to some still photos of these and you can have a look and read which drill is for what material. Now most drills that you're going to need will be for brass, aluminium or steel in regards to your PCP air rifle, but because you're just removing a small amount of metal and it's a one hole drill, there's no need really to go out and buy a specialised drill unless that's what you wish to do. However, what you mustn't do in general is rush out to the hardware shop or go into your workshop and get out an absolutely brand new spanking razor sharp jobber drill. And the reason I say this is most of you won't have access to milling machines or heavy duty pillar drills, etc. And so if you're trying to do this with how would I describe this, not lower grade equipment, but equipment where you can't bolt everything down absolutely rock solid and control the feed of the drill precisely. The problem with using a brand new razor sharp jobber drill, because you're drilling into a pre-existing hole and you haven't got to push it down to force it through the metal, it has a tendency to snatch and pull. It wants to spiral its way in, and with a small drill you can end up snapping the tip of the drill off and getting it stuck. This is particularly the case in brass. Brass seems to be a material that's fairly bad for that. Now the way to avoid this is to what we would describe in the trade, if you were doing engineering, is, or what I was told is called, backing off. Now you won't be able to see on this 4mm drill, I don't think, because it's probably a little bit too small, so I shall cut to a still of that in a little while. But the reason I've got these two bigger drills out is to show you what I mean, so I'll cut to that now. Now hopefully this is in focus and you can see that the drill on the right is different to the two on the left. The one on the right is a drill used for brass, and you can see that the rake or angle of the cutting face is different to the general jobber drills to the left. Now when we say backing off is simply flattening off the sharp cutting face. So instead of the spiral trying to bite into the metal, it scrapes it away, and so it's a more controllable process as it sort of scrapes the metal as opposed to trying to cut into it. So hopefully you can see the angle on this drill here, and then this other one that we've already altered, you can see that we've flattened off the cutting face slightly, and so that will give a more controlled drill down a existing hole in brass. So I think this drill here is 9mm, so if I was actually drilling a wanted to drill a 9mm hole down a pre-existing 8mm hole in brass, then this is what I might do to make sure that the drill doesn't bite into the metal and snatch and break and twist. So it's possible to do this filing off and backing off with a small drill. You just have to be very careful and use a little jeweler's file. Hopefully you can just see where I've backed this small new 4mm drill off just by lightly removing the very sharp angled front cutting edge. So this would give a far more controlled drill down say a 3mm hole into brass if I was going to enlarge it out to 4mm. This is what we'd do in the workshop to ensure that the hole's nice and clean and the tip of the drill doesn't jam and break off.